therefore, these recordings will be sent to you. It will also be up on our YouTube channel for you to go and visit anytime at your own convenience. I now hand over to Venkatraman, who will introduce the speaker and take it forward from there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Suman. Good afternoon to the youth. Good afternoon to the youngsters. Good afternoon to the literally the next generation of India. Thank you all for making it to this webinar. Keeping in mind that what we impart and what we let you experience is pretty diverse. One of the quintessential and most important topics that you will be discussing or thinking about through your lifetime is going to be money. And for that, today we have an extremely eminent speaker with us who's got phenomenal experience in this field. He has created a niche for himself, and he is here more than conducting sessions for anybody else. He is extremely passionate to conduct sessions for youngsters like you, because math, science, everything says that the sooner you learn and understand money, the sooner it is going to be of low priority to you, because you've already figured out money and you can start focusing on your careers. To briefly introduce our speaker, Sandeep Patil. He is the founder of the organization called Last Lap Private Limited, which is a pure financial advisory company. Sandeep comes with varied experiences. Even the WebEx platform that we see today comes from the organization that Sandeep served for over 15 years as a director. He was a director at Cisco, where he managed various R&D teams, including R&D teams that used to manage and develop Cisco WebEx. So he's an engineer by foundation. Born in the north of Karnataka. He is originally from Belgaum, but Dharwad happens to be where he spent most of his time during his education and during his formative years. He then graduated from Malnad College of Engineering at Hassan, where he completed his Bachelor's of Engineering. He then moved on, just like some of the exposure that you are all getting. He moved to a beautiful foundational program by another genius called Mr. Shastri, under an organization called Uttara Computers, where he got his grassroots level training on Unix, C, and some of those foundational computer courses. He joined Motorola initially, where he worked for about 6 years. He then moved on to Cisco when Cisco started its Eastern headquarters in India. So literally on a startup mode, Sandeep has led various R&D teams within Cisco. And in 2014, he moved on, kind of retired from his corporate life at the age of 40. And he wanted to pursue his passion, which was imparting fundamental education on money to people. So in the process, he has developed modules. He has conducted workshops for the who's who, literally thousands of people. And he has also been instrumental in developing the technologies for his organization. He will talk about it briefly, I guess, about even a mobile app that has been created, which is a robo-advisory app that you can all play on. Sandeep will even touch upon that aspect to you. One of the things that he doesn't like it when I mention is that he is one of the most successful retail investors in India. So if you had a meter scale, that measures successful investors in India, he would be in the top 50 in India. So you have an extremely experienced gentleman who has studied this from the foundational level and brought it to this level. He has imparted this education to thousands of people. And I am very happy to say that you have got a really early start to listen to somebody like Sandeep. He looks, very stoic, very serious kind of person. But believe me, he loves it when there are youngsters like you on the call. You guys can keep the session interactive. Feel free to ask him any kind of questions, pick on his brain, and you will enjoy this journey throughout your life. This money journey, you will enjoy it throughout your life. So that is briefly about Sandeep. Today, he will be talking about money matters or the fundamentals of money. He will just touch upon the absolute fundamentals of money during his talk. Welcome to the talk, Sandeep. I hope you have a very good time with our students from all over South India.
Thank you, Venkat. All right. Do I start now, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Welcome, the next generation, as Venkat said. It's a pleasure meeting with the youngsters. More because, believe it or not, every interaction I learn much more than what I can give. Okay, so these interactions help me understand my topic better, understand several aspects that I originally thought I had a grasp on, that I understood. But then fresh perspective, fresh views always help. It makes us better, actually. And it makes us humbler in realizing that we really don't know much. Anyway, let's get into knowing money. Money is an important aspect in our life. I mean, nobody would dispute that. All of us agree with it. At least most of us do, barring those few exceptions who have figured it out already. Venkat mentioned that successful retail investors, debatable, but in my opinion, a successful person is one who does not really chase after what he wants. All of us, while acknowledging that money is important, should reach a stage in our life where money is not the most important aspect. Okay. To me, that is success. And the more of us who reach that stage sooner, the better it is for us, actually. All of us. So, my goal today is just one thing. It's about how do we make more and more people not to worry about their money and to give it the importance that it deserves. To begin with, it will be the most important aspect of our lives, right? At the start of your career, money would be extremely important. But the sooner you get out of that trap, and money is just something that happens, the better off you will be. Let's start with understanding what is money. And at any point, if you need further discussion, clarification, or have more thoughts that you want to share, just butt in, okay? Just interrupt me, and then we will take it from there. What is money? Money is just an exchange mechanism. It is a bartering system. That's it. Nothing more to it. It is just a bartering system. If I want fruits, I get the fruit and pay money. If I want books, I pay the money, get the books. If I want, I don't know, a computer, I pay the money, get the computer. If I want to travel, I pay the money, book my train tickets or bus tickets or the cab or whatever. Money is a barter system. I use money to purchase goods or avail services. It could be healthcare services, it could be medicines, it could be a flight ticket, it could be a spectacles, right? It could be anything. Money is just a bartering system, nothing more to it. Unfortunately, our systems are currently built in such a way that it is very confusing, and most people, many people, assume success is money. It is not. It's the contrary. Success is when money is not the most important thing. If you are an engineer, success is when you thrive as an engineer. Money is incidental. It is just a mechanism for me to exchange it for goods and services. That's about it. That is money. Imprint this particular fact onto yourself. Never ever forget it. Money is a bartering mechanism, and I need to make money not the most important aspect of my life. If this is something that you can achieve early in your career, you will be successful. Nothing can stop you. Aspects of money, just 4 pillars: my income, my expense, my loans, and my investments. These are the 4 pillars of money. Income is, we all understand, it could be due to salary, it could be due to rent, it could be due to my business, my practice, could be anything. That's my source of income. That's how I get my money. What do I do with it? I spend. That's the expense. What do I spend it on? The day-to-days like rent, ration, travel, school, medicines, healthcare, my phone, Netflix, Amazon, yeah, Swiggy, food, driver, maid, could be anything. Holidays, those are my expenses. And if my income is more than my expense, I'll have something to spare. Yeah, I've earned some money, I have spent some money, and there is some remaining. That's my surplus. That's the excess. Coming to the third pillar of money, loans. We all have heard of loans. We take a loan, I take a loan to perhaps buy a car, buy a house, or provide myself an education or my daughter or son an education. Loans come in various types. Yeah? Student loan, housing loan, vehicle loan, personal loan, and so on. Loan is the third pillar of my money. Investments, ideally, all my surplus, that is, I earn an income, I spend most of it actually. What remains, what little remains is my surplus. Ideally, all of my surplus should be invested. Why do we need to invest? Well, it grows. Investments hopefully, typically grow over time. That is investment. And along this journey, I fulfill all my day-to-day aspirations, futuristic aspirations, and all my financial goals. Bottom line, what is money? It's a bartering mechanism. That's it. If I want something, I pay and I get it. It could be a product, it could be a service. Income minus expense is surplus. What do I do with the surplus? I invest it. Let's understand that better. By the way, why would I invest? Yeah. Why would I invest? Let's understand that a bit better. Let's look at our lives, my life, let's say. You see, the x-axis has years, and this green bar is for the current year. This is my income of this year. And the brown bar is my expense for this year. As you can see, most of what I earn, I spend. Nothing wrong in it. That's what gives me my lifestyle, my today's lifestyle. I use most of my income to lead a lifestyle that I want. Thankfully, I have something to spare. That is my surplus, the golden bar. Green bar minus brown bar, income minus expense is my surplus, my golden bar. And next year, also I will have some income. And the next year also I will have some income. And as you can see, thankfully, income has grown and expense sometimes is lesser than the first year or more than the previous year. Thus, my surplus also keeps changing. The size of my golden bar could be more or less, depending on how much I earn and how much I spend. The formula is very simple. Income minus expense is equal to surplus. But then there are some years where I spend more than what I earn. Okay. There will be such years. And that gives rise to a blue bar. What does a blue bar mean? It's a deficit, the opposite of surplus. Surplus is when my income is more than my expense. Deficit is in a year, my expense is more than my income. That's a blue bar. And as the years progress, sometime for most of us, particularly let's say after retirement or after I stop working for my income, there will be more blue bars, meaning my income will be much lesser than my expense. That is, for many of these years, I'll have deficits, the blue bars. Just look at this diagram. There are some years where there are golden bars, and then there are some years where there are more blue bars. Golden bar is my extra, my surplus. Blue bar are my shortages, my deficits. The obvious reason why I would need to invest all these golden bars, there is a golden bar here and here and here, and a blue bars, a few of them hidden among these. The obvious reason why I would need to invest these golden bars is to cut short my deficits. I invest a golden bar here, it will reduce the deficit perhaps here. The reason for investment is to continue to maintain my lifestyle. That is the reason why I invest. It does not matter how much my investment is. There is a saying in Kannada, Anigudidare halla, meaning every drop by drop makes a pond or the ocean also. And that's a fact. It does not really matter how big my golden bar is. That is not the important point here. What is important is I put it to use. I invest it. It could be 100 rupees, it could be 1000 rupees, it could be 10,000 rupees. It does not really matter. The most important aspect is I earn, I spend to my satisfaction, and what remains, I invest. Why do I invest? To fulfill my blue bars, to take care of my shortages, where my expenses are more than my income. Now it becomes mathematical. If I have to put in my golden bars in such a way, if I have to invest my golden bars in such a way that all my shortages, all my deficits are taken care, by what growth rate should my golden bars grow at? What is the required run rate? That we call it GAINX. GAINX means all my golden bars that I will be investing, by how much should it grow? Why should it grow? Because I have some shortage in the future. That is why I am investing. And in order to be successful in this exercise of plugging all these shortages, by investing these golden bars, these surplus amounts, by what growth should it grow at? This is the critical aspect. Most people don't approach it in a scientific way. This is a one of the ways, scientific way, I would say. I'm sure there are many others, but this is the simplest, easiest, and it will help you in making a lot of decisions in your future. Once you start earning, once you are into the world, a job perhaps, your business perhaps, could be anything. Once you start drawing your income, you will get a lot of noise coming to you. There are a lot of people who will want to sell their financial products because you have money. Okay. your surplus is somebody else's income. Okay, that you will need to realize. So you are better off in understanding what you want to buy. I'll tell you a story. I went to a mobile shop. I wanted to buy a phone. There were iPhones there and Samsung and Redmi and a host of phones. But I knew what I wanted. So I did my research. I read up. I understood what I wanted the phone for. I'm not that particular about the camera. So that's a low priority for me. Personally, that's my choice. So I knew what I wanted and I could buy what I wanted. Now imagine my father, he is 85. He goes and tries to buy a phone. He uses a phone, but you know, technology kind of is difficult for him to handle. Imagine a person who does not understand the technology, who really has not much of clarity into what he is looking for, what the possibilities in a phone are, and what he really wants. If he goes to a shop, what do you think the salesman will sell? Something that will give the salesman a higher commission, or something that my father really needs? Nobody really has the time to figure out what their customer wants. They just most of the times want to sell the product that will give them the most maximum commission. Very similarly, in the financial world, as you start earning, you will start seeing financial product salesmen trying to sell their products to you. I'm not saying those products are bad. The phone that my dad will buy, my father will buy, will not be a bad phone. It could perhaps be a very good phone, but perhaps not the best one for him. Okay, so knowing money will help you, and the way to figure out what phone is good, I mean, what financial product is best for you, the first step is to figure out what your GainX is, what your required run rate is. Is the financial product that is being sold, is it in line with your GainX? If not, well, look otherwise. Look to an alternate product. GainX is your first step, and actually the only step you need to take to make your financial decision. Once you know your GainX, what does it really mean to you? What are your choices? That is an information, piece of information. It's like a run rate, okay? Low GainX, what does it mean? You have 4 options. One, you can say, I can spend more. You could spend more. Why? Because low GainX means bigger golden bars. You can increase the GainX. It's very low. And one of the ways to increase it is by spending more. You could also earn less. And you could invest in lesser risk investment, low risk investment. On the contrary, a high GainX, what does it mean? You would perhaps need to trim your expenses, spend less, or it's an indicator that you should work more, earn more. Or the third possibility is you need to figure out how to take some risk in your investments. They need to grow at it needs a higher run rate. So you will have a host of choices to make. Your investments will be in line with your requirement, and your lifestyle will be in line with your requirement. So the only takeaway for you guys for today will be, as you start earning, once you get into that, realize that money is a bartering mechanism, and for you to figure out if your lifestyle is good or it can get better, and to figure out where you would need to invest in a sensible way, know what your GainX is. And along with that, it will help you in answering a lot of other questions, which you will hit at one stage or other as time progresses. Most financial questions you can answer by knowing your GainX. Now, coming to the app that Venkat mentioned, all of this, we have kind of built an app around it, and it's available in App Store and the Play Store. It's called Monkey Money. You can try it out. It comes with a 7-day free trial. Download it, spend some time on it, see how it really works, see what GainX means. Of course, for you, maybe the numbers that you feed in will be very hypothetical, but then go ahead and have fun. Thank you for listening. Now I can take questions. If you want some specific topic to be covered, if you have any clarification or anything, it's open for questions.
Students, please type in the chat box, or you can also unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Just to let you know, Sandeep can speak Kannada, Hindi, English, of course, and to some extent Telugu. So feel free to ask him questions in any language you want. Don't worry about it at all. So Sandeep, I want to start with one question that I want to ask for the children. You know, when they start, they may be starting small. You know, they will get into some job when they come in, or they may start a small business.
Mm-hmm.
What is the minimum amount somebody should think of investing when they start their careers? Is there something like a minimum? Or...
Yeah. The minimum can be 100 rupees, 50 rupees. There's nothing called minimum. Every investment, every drop, I mean, practically there would be some limit. 1 rupee perhaps is not a good amount, but 50 rupees can be invested. 100 rupees can be invested. There's no such thing as minimum. It's about starting that activity. The reason why you start is to ensure that your blue bars are covered. Once you understand that, no amount is small.
Perfect. I saw one question coming in. What exactly is GainX?
Yeah. So
Or target?
There are a lot of financial products out there. Banks sell products like fixed deposit, recurring deposit. Indian Post Office also sells products like National Savings Certificate, Kisan Vikas Patra. And then there are bonds. And then there are the shares, stock market. And there are mutual funds. Nowadays, we are seeing a lot of advertisements on mutual funds. Sip Karo, I think, something like that, some catchy tune. A lot of products out there where you can invest your money. Nowadays, the hype is about cryptocurrencies, bitcoins. You can invest money in forex, foreign exchange, currencies. You could also invest in commodities. Yeah, wheat, oil, gold, a bunch of these commodities. A lot of avenues for investment. It gets confusing very fast. Okay, and it's like this. When in a game of cricket, suppose I want to, it's a 20-20 match, 20 overs. The maximum runs I can score, assuming all are valid deliveries, are six balls per over, 6 runs per ball into 20. That's the maximum runs I can score. But if I try to hit a sixer on all balls, chances are that's high risk. Chances are I'll get out very soon. I might hit a couple of sixers and then I'll get caught or bowled. The idea is not to get out. The idea is to play the game. I mean, I shouldn't get into trouble financially. I need to keep the game going till I die. Okay, that's the whole idea. And in order to do that, we have to be very careful about the kind of risks that we take. Just like in the game of cricket, do I really need to hit a six every ball? If the required run rate is 2 runs per over, do I really need to hit sixers every ball? No, I just need to hit 2 runs per over. Similarly, when I invest my money, what is the required run rate? Should it be 10% per year? Should it be 3% per year? Based on that, I will take the right amount of risk in my investment. That is the meaning of GainX. It tells me what growth I need on my investment.
Excellent, Sandeep. I think, in continuation with what you mentioned, I see a question which says, sir, is stock market the only place to invest? You answered it partially already, but
yes.
on a to simplify this for our students, if there are one or two things they must do when they start their careers, what do you suggest for them?
Yes. Okay. Stock market is one of the ways to invest, not the only place to invest. Stock market also comes in two flavors, the cash and the F&O segment. And as I said, there's nothing called the best place to invest. There are some very good traders in Forex market, some very good commodities traders, and the stock market is definitely one of the other most common place where most investors invest. The issue with any of these investments, like stocks, commodities, or Forex, I'll take just the example of stock market. The main issue with investing in the stock market is not segregating my lifestyle requirement and my wealth requirement. If I want to see my money really grow, that is to create wealth, I need to do it with my spare money, not my surplus. My surplus, majority of it should go towards my blue bars, towards my lifestyle. Okay, so stock market is a very good place to invest, but ensure that you chalk out some money that you are willing to lose. You should not really expect high growth. I mean, the expectation is stock market will give me high growth, but I should only put that money that I'm willing to lose fully. Only then there is a possibility of success. And when you get into your career, when you start your careers, the first thing you will need to look for is insurance. Get a health insurance. Even if your employer, if there is an employer, if your employer gives you a health insurance, get yourself a health coverage. And if there are financial dependents, could be your mom, your dad, yeah, assuming you're married, I mean, not married. If you're married, then your wife, and if you have kids, children. If you have a family that depends on you financially, get your life insurance. Yeah, they are dependent on you for the earning. These are the first two things that you should do. Insure yourself, and then build a safety net. Okay, life is long. You start your career when you are in your 20s. Yeah, life is long. It's another. You're still not even I don't know 20% of your life. Okay, there is still another 80% to go. So you need, for that 80% of life, for that long haul, you need a safety net. And that safety net is given by the low risk investments like the FDs, the public provident fund. Build it at this age. For the first 2-3 years, build that. Actually, let me correct myself. For the first 2-3 years, don't worry about investments. Insure yourself and enjoy life. Yeah, spend money, enjoy life, go on parties, see places. Yeah, but insure yourself first, enjoy life, and maybe 2-3 years later, start building that safety net. Once that safety net is built, then the rest of it you can build over time.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sandeep. There's a question from Ms. Sudha. What are the ways to earn money by students while studying for their needs? For their needs, can they earn in some way?
Sandeep, can we close the screen so
Yes,
that they can see you?
I will do that. Okay. Sorry, Venkat.
The question from Sudha was, while studying, these students also have their needs. Are there some ways they could earn while they're studying also?
Yes. Actually, my daughter asked me the same question, and she also gave me one suggestion for herself. She said she wanted to work in Starbucks or Subway.
Subway.
So Subway. She's in her 11th grade now. She's a first PUC student. And she is now talking to both of these people, Starbucks and Subway, to figure out if she can work there part-time. There are several avenues. your generation is perhaps the luckiest generation so far. Okay. The opportunities are unbounded. It's just that you should want to work. Okay. You should feel like working, and the opportunities are there. Lot of companies are offering internships, and depending on your interest, your skill level, you can get into aligning with some of such internships. And most companies, the pharma sector, the healthcare sector, the financial sector, the IT sector, lot of these people are encouraging youngsters to come in as interns. It doesn't pay great. The Starbucks pay is not all that great. The Subway pay is not all that great, but then it's okay. And I know of a few students who drive cabs, Ola and Uber. Nothing wrong with it. It's actually good. It's a service that you are providing to people and earning along the way. It's a good pocket money. Lot of such avenues are available, and particularly nowadays, with many businesses going online, more opportunities are visible. Okay, remote working, data entry, data analysis. So depending on your skill level, depending on your interest, you can hunt for such opportunities online. It's actually a great time to be a youth.
Thank you, Sandeep. I think that was a very good question, and I think very well answered by you. Just to share my experience, my daughter is studying, she's doing her graduation. Fortunately, in the place that she's studying, they permit 20 hours of work every week. You know, it's legally permitted there. So she keeps looking for jobs. She has worked at Decathlon, she has worked at Starbucks, she has worked at various places. So look at that. So Sudha, you know, if you meant, can we make some investment to earn some money? As Sandeep said, this is the stage of life where you must really enjoy your lives. If you need money, look for opportunities like this, and in a couple of years, start, you know, building that safety net, fixed deposits. First of all, insure yourselves, insure life insurance and health insurance. Those are very critical because those are huge expenses for your parents also. God forbid if something happens. So this is a very nice point from him. Sandeep, I had one adjunct question to what Sudha asked actually. What about careers on the financial side? You know, I am asking you this, you know, students, I am asking this to Sandeep because even when Sandeep was a manager at Cisco and when he went on to become a director at Cisco, he used to be a financial advisor also. So that was his passion. It was his avocation, not his vocation. And he used to earn from that also. So are there careers in the financial advisory space, on the investment side, and things like that that our children could look at, Sandeep?
Yes, this space has opened up in the recent past. Okay, when I started my advisory service, this was about 13, 14 years back. There was no certification back then. Today there are several certifications, like for example, NISM in India offers great certification. The advantage of certifications are, one, it will help you build up your skill, and along the way it will also tell you or show you whether you are, or help you understand if you are interested in that or not. If you are interested, you can pursue with further certification. Yeah, NISM has literally few tens of certifications, lots of them, like the advisory certification, the mutual fund distributor certification, insurance, lot of financial products. Read upon those, build those certifications, and you can start from there. And then beyond NISM, there are a lot of universities who are offering, I wouldn't call them certifications, but then more of diplomas in each of these specializations. You could look at that as a next level, but you can start off with the NISM certification. They're short, they're easily achievable. A couple of months of effort, you can pick up a certification.
Thank you, Sandeep. I think that's a very good point. You know, I would like to mention it because our children are all on this call. that Rotary Cantonment has trained college final year graduate undergrad students on the NISM certification course. So we have
That's very good.
conducted training on NISM. So these students, if they can take this up now and get a certificate, they can become financial advisors even before they start earning from their own industry. So it's a wonderful and valid point. And I promise that all these students who are on this call, whenever we have our next free NISM trainings that we are going to organize, we are waiting for the pandemic to settle down and things like that. We will definitely keep them posted. Suman, if we can keep all our children also posted, if they
That would
like
be wonderful.
financial advisory, they could attend it. We have a free training program. They can straight away go for certification and they can become financial advisors.
That will be
That's
wonderful.
a great initiative, Venkat.
Yeah.
And thanks to the Rotary Club, really. Because, see, nowadays we acknowledge that money is extremely important, if not the most important. It is very important for our lives. Unfortunately, what is happening is it's not part of our curriculum. We don't learn about it in school. Yeah, we are not taught about it in homes. Yeah, it's upon us, and it's really a great initiative by Rotary to have taken up this initiative. Hats off.
Sandeep, I wanted to ask you, there is a lot of buzz on cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Can you give our students an overview on that?
Sure. So the way money evolved, I'll just walk you through it for a couple of minutes. It all started when we were hunter-gatherers. We meaning our ancestors. Yeah, long back. Our forefathers were hunters or gatherers, meaning roaming around the forest, plucking fruits, yeah, and stuff. And people used to barter it. So I'll give you one chicken, you give me 2 kgs of rice, something like that. Bartering system. Then came currency. Yeah, we had currency made from metals like gold and silver, leather, and so on. Currency came. And then came the modern currency, printed notes on paper. Yeah, then came, we went digital in terms of using cards, credit cards and debit cards and stuff. Cryptocurrency is the next step, where the currency is now in the form of pure electronic. Yeah, there is no material. It's just ledger, it's there electronically. That is cryptocurrency. Most currencies in the future could be 10 years down, could be 20 years down. Paper money will disappear. It will be cryptocurrency. And the technology of blockchain has kind of made it imperative to move into cryptocurrency sooner than later. It's a solid platform technologically, and that transition will happen. Cryptocurrency is the future, but not the ones that are here today. What cryptocurrencies are available today are private cryptocurrencies. They are not backed by any government bodies. Okay, so most government bodies who now print in India, RBI prints rupee notes. Only the piece, end of the day, what is a note? What is a rupee note, or 10 rupee or 100 rupee or 2000 rupee note? It's a piece of paper. What makes it valuable is the wording on it. I promise. Who promises? The government of India promises. That is what gives it its value. Once each of these governments countries start moving into cryptocurrencies, whatever those currencies are, it could be e-rupee. Yeah, those are the future. That is the future. Not really Bitcoins and all the other cryptocurrencies that are out there. Those are transitionary. They will go away.
Thank you, Sandeep.
There's a wonderful question, actually, Sandeep's favorite topic. It has come from one of the participants, Sandeep. What is compound interest? And this question has come from Vintesh from Dharwad, your hometown.
Okay. What is compound interest? Great. That's a wonderful question. There are money can grow in two ways, simple or compound. Simple growth or compound growth. I will use the term interest here. Okay, nothing wrong in it. Simple interest means if I invest 100 rupees, both of them, by the way, simple interest and compound interest, measure growth. It's used to measure growth. When I invest 100 rupee, and if that investment gives me 10% simple growth, that means at the end of 1 year, I will get 10% of the 100 rupee that I invested. That is 10 rupee. And the year after that, I will get 10% of the 100 rupee that I invested. That is another 10 rupee. And the year after that, that is the third year, I will get 10% of the 100 rupee that I invested. That is 10 rupees. Assume I have invested for 10 years. Each of these 10 years, I will keep getting 10 rupees. That is simple interest. The amount that I invested, 100 rupees, is called the principal amount. Okay, that's the asalu, the principal amount. The principal amount, 10% of the principal amount is what I keep getting every year. That is simple interest. Compound interest, on the contrary, compound interest works like this. I invested the same 100 rupee in an investment that will give me 10% compound interest. At the end of 1 year, I get 10% of that. That is 10 rupees. And the year after that, I will get 100 rupee plus 10 rupee that I got in the previous year. That is 110 rupee, 10% of that, meaning 11 rupees. Compound interest is my interest also earns interest. In simple interest, my interest will not earn interest. It's only the principal amount, the amount I invested will earn the interest. In compound interest, my principal amount earns, and along the way, all the interest amount that I keep getting, they will also participate in earning. Extremely powerful. The most powerful investment tool is compounding. Albert Einstein said, compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. And he has a reason to say that. All of us read about this. A is equal to P into 1 plus R raised to N. That is the compound interest formula. We learned it in 8th standard. Okay, most people don't realize it, but it is the most powerful tool in investment. You will figure that out as you understand more about investments in your life. But if you want to take away, compounding is your friend.
Is your
And
friend
also and also your enemy.
Yes.
Sorry. Yes,
What
Venkat.
time in that, Sandeep? What role does time play on compounding?
Yes. So A is equal to P into 1 plus R raised to N or T. The exponent part is time. That is the secret sauce here. That is what makes it so powerful. Not the growth. A is equal to P into 1 plus R raised to N. I'll tell you a story. There was this kingdom where the king wanted to gift something to a poor person. The poor person came and the king said, for whatever reason, I will give you whatever you want. The king was playing chess at that time. And that person said, give me 1 grain of rice today, put it in that's the first box in the chess board. And tomorrow, double that. And the day after, double that. And the day after, double that. He was actually asking for compound growth. The king said, you are talking to a king. You want me to give you 1 grain of rice today, 2 grains of rice tomorrow, 4 grains of rice after that, and so on for 30 days. You are a fool. And at the end of the 15th day, the king had to give his whole kingdom to that beggar. That is compounding. Okay. Compounding, time is extremely powerful in compounding, not the amount invested. So Venkat, when you asked how much money I should be investing, that is not important. Okay, stock market can give me a very high return. That is not important. Time, T, that is why youngsters, you people have a long time, much more than what I have. Use it. let compounding work for you.
I think there's one nice point by Deepak from NIE Mysore. He says it is powerful, but those who take Sala, they get heart attack in thinking of how to return it. So very important point, like Sandeep said, compounding works in both directions. So
the Sala also is compounding. Okay, compounding, it can take you up in a compounding magical way, or it can take you down in a magical way.
So there's one question from Venkatesh again from Dharwad. What are the investment options where we get compound interest?
Okay. Today, as of today, almost all investment products are compounded. The growth is compounded, barring very few. Some of them are insurance products. Okay. A type of insurance product called endowment. It comes in different names, money back and so on. Only those offer simple growth. Stay away from, see, it keeps changing. Tomorrow when you start your working, or 10 years down or 20 years down, you might come across a product which perhaps at that time offers you simple interest or simple growth. So today, most of the products are compound growth, but it's an extremely valid observation, Venkatesh. Before you invest, the first check you have to do is it simple? Is it compound? If it is simple, ignore it, move on. If it is compound, do your research next. The first step in research is simple or compound. It has to be compound.
I'm just checking if there are any other questions. I don't see any at the moment, but students, yeah.
One more.
Nowadays, students are encouraged by different marketing companies for investment and watch some ads for gaining of money. Is it right choice, sir?
Yeah. So look at it this way. Why you see so many ads is because you have money to invest. Okay, it's like this. I see advertisements for mobile phone. Yeah, buy this phone. This phone is better. I see this advertisement. I see advertisement on spectacles. Yeah, reason, I have money to buy a phone. That is why I see advertisers, product advertisers advertising their product. Now, is it a good phone or not a good phone is for me to figure out. It is for me to do my research. It is for me to understand what I need and only then buy what is right for my need. It is not wrong to buy a phone. It is not wrong to buy shoes. It is not wrong to buy spectacles. If I need to buy something, then I have to buy that, period. Similarly, investment also is a product. Understand that investment also is a product, and people are selling that product because you have money to buy something. You have a need to buy an investment product. There will be advertisements that you see, lot of advertisement, and it is individually up to us to understand, is it a good product for me? Should I buy in it? How much I should buy? When I should buy? These are the decisions individually we will have to make.
That's true. You see some of these loan apps which are in the press of late, right? Which have been, sort of misusing with some of the data of the customers, and now they are getting barred also. So those are, areas. Probably Sandeep, you could touch upon that.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of careful investments.
Yes.
And also there's a additional question from Venkatesh. What are bonds and securities?
Yes.
So he has gone a little deeper into the topic on bonds and securities. So if you could answer that also for him.
Sure.
Very, very briefly, we are almost at the end of the session. So if we could.
Yes, I will rush through that. Securities is a very general purpose term. It could and view it as an investment. Okay, so view it as an investment. A stock is a security, bond is a security. So view it as an investment, nothing more than that. What are bonds? Bond is a mechanism of funding something. If, let's say, I'm the government of Karnataka, or I am Tata Steel, or could be anybody actually. If I want some money, I have two ways, one of two ways of raising that money. One is equity, one is through bonds. Equity is I sell you shares of my company and I take your money. That is one way of funding what I need. And by I mean I could be the government, I could be Tata Steel or any such company. The other way is to float bonds. Bonds are very similar to FDs, but slightly different. But for all practical purposes, it is kind of an FD, which I can buy from whoever is floating that bond and sell it to anybody who's willing to buy it from me. So bond is a funding mechanism. If Tata Steel wants, let's say 100 crore rupees, they might float bonds worth 100 crore rupees and sell it. And the term will be, you take one bond for 100 rupees, I will give you 10% every year as interest.
Wonderful. I think we are at the end of the questions. I would like to remind the students that Sandeep has shared the name of his app. It's called Monkey Money. It's a single word, Monkey Money. Look it up on Play Store or App Store. Download it. There's a free trial. Freak out on it. Play with hypothetical numbers, or input your parents' numbers. You could do that. Enjoy it, learn. There are some wonderful videos also on the platform. Those are introduction videos. See those videos, you'll get a very good hang of money. So Suman,
Sandeep, Venkat, if there is any link that you could send, I can circulate it to all of them.
Sandeep has shared it on the chat just now. And if you have a WhatsApp group or something where you can reach the students, I'll send you the links also, Suman. We will send that to you.
Sure. Any other questions? Final questions before we close? Sure, Deepak.
Hello, Deepak.
If person is there who is expert in stock market, and he already invested in say anything like Swiggy or Zomato, he invested much amount, but afterwards he come to know after 15 days or 1 month this company is going to face huge loss. He came to know from any source, you like that. So then he thinks to sell his shares because our big loss. So then he advertised like anything, come and invest in Swiggy, earn more money at 10%, 12%, like that. He advertised like anything in Facebook or anything, so that he attracts people, those who are like me, I mean those who are new to stock market. He advertised like anything, having intention of selling his shares. So this way he avoids his loss, and the person who is new to stock market, he gets loss. So is this the way of humanity or fair?
No, not really. Not fair at all. Right? So
I heard that of the stock market runs in this way only.
Yes, it used to. Yeah. The reason why it runs like that, Deepak, is because the buyer doesn't know what he wants to buy. And trust me, it happens everywhere. Not just stock market. It happens in the phone. You know phones. You talk to my father. He's 85 years old. He will say he's cheated half the time. Reason is he doesn't know. The only way to avoid it is by knowing. Education. Educate yourself. If money is important to you, understand what money is. What I talked about today is just the surface, but an extremely important surface. I gave you the meaning of GainX. What does it tell you? Do you really need to invest in the stock market? If your GainX is 4% or 5%, you need not invest in the stock market. FDs will give you 4-5%. FDs are good enough for you. They are relatively safer. first step is, it's the only way to avoid being cheated, Deepak, is education. There is no other way. And it does not only happen in the stock market. Yeah, I go buy vegetables. Sometimes I feel cheated. I go to Chennai before Google Maps. When I went to Chennai, the auto drivers there always cheated me because I didn't know Chennai. I didn't know the roads.
But
Yeah.
But if he get more profit for something like 15 years or 20 years, still that profit. What's happened? I mean, such
If there are buyers, he will sell.
there in the investors also. Why it happens like that? What's that?
Kali Yuga. Because we are in the Kali Yuga. Okay, so can't help it, Deepak. Okay, there are rules, there are regulations. Yeah. So, okay, let me put it this way. One, if you don't invest your money into something that you don't understand, I tell that to my father also. You want to buy phones? Tell me, I will buy it for you. Because you don't understand phones. You don't buy phones. Okay, that is why financial advisors are there. You don't do it. Your financial advisor will help you not to get cheated. You take services for common citizens. It's about knowledge. If I don't even know that there are financial advisors, let's say for example doctors. Yeah, I hear somebody stole my kidney. Yeah, some hospital stole my kidney. I heard that a few times in the past. Get a good doctor and go to a good doctor. That's the critical part. Identify, go to a good financial advisor and seek his advice. Should I buy these shares? Your advisor is knowledgeable. He is trying to help you, but your job will be to go to a good financial advisor. You don't buy something that you don't understand, then you will get cheated. You might get cheated. You will get cheated is the wrong way to look at it. You might get cheated. A, you have two choices. One, educate yourself, be an expert yourself. That is one option. Second option, get a good advisor to help you make the right financial decision.
Okay, but if assume like one retail shop. Sorry for asking not related things. But,
No, continue.
if a person is there of something like your age only, things like that.
I'm not too
Having
old, by the
retail
way.
sorry, sir.
Sandeep is only 21.
Sorry, continue, Deepak.
Has I mean a kirana shop. But there, if a child went and if it want a 5 rupees bingo packet and it has 50 rupees, no. If it give to the shop owner, but he never take 50 rupees and give only one bingo packet. I mean he returns amount, so he won't cheat. But the person who is much knowledgeable, much investor like that, doctors, they are only the cheaters. I mean, if
Good.
knowledge came differently, why it happens like that?
Kali Yuga, right? I believe in okay, I'm a staunch Hindu, okay? I follow Hindu. You're now coming into philosophy. I can go into a talk on that also. Spirituality is another area of my passion. I can go into that also. I can go into Advaita, Dvaita, and give you reasoning as to why it's happening. But
in the next career guidance series.
Sure. See, Deepak, the way I would like to give you one advice. All students, don't look at life the way you want it to be. Not yet. Life is the way it is. Okay? If you don't like something and you want to change it, get into the system and work to change it. Don't, like Gandhiji said, be the change that you want to be. Be the change that you want to see. Okay, if you don't like something, get into the system and work towards changing it. Till that happens, understand what is the system and work within its boundaries. Don't have expectation on your it could be your exam system. Personally, I don't like the way education is done in India. Yeah. But then till that changes, I have to tell my daughter to do what is required out of her. There are exams, there are unit tests, all of these. It has to be done. Never ever look at life in the way you wish it to be unless you are willing to change it. Extremely important for students to learn this.
Yeah, probably we can take this one final question.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah,
Harshita.
this is from Harshita. Yeah.
Are all financial advisors in India in the list of rich people? Not really. Okay, financial advisory is a new field in India. Okay, in India, unfortunately, what has happened is so far the distributors of the financial products also used to be the advisors. It is like this. Let's take doctor and the pharma shop, the medicine shop. The doctor gives me advice. Doctor is a health advisor. Okay, the doctor is a health advisor. He looks at a few parameters and then he writes the prescription and gives me the prescription, and it takes 100 rupees or 150 rupees. That's the advisory fee that I give to the doctor, health advisory. Then I take the prescription, go to any medical shop and purchase the medicine. That is the right model. In the advisory, what used to happen was the doctor tells me what medicine to take and also gives me the medicine. And he tells, I will not charge you for my doctor service. I will charge you only for the tablets. There is a conflict of interest here. Because when the doctor gives me a tablet, I don't know whether it is for me or for his commission. The financial advisory is a new space in India. It's a very healthy move by the government of India, trying, Deepak, to address the concern that you have. The government has taken a few steps. Okay, promoting advisory is one of the steps that the government of India has taken about 4 or 5 years ago. It has started. It will take some more time, maybe another 2-3 years for it to really grow. Okay, so financial advisory is a new space. Earlier, the distributors used to be the advisors. And as a customer, my advisor, whatever advice he gave me, I was always doubtful. Is it for my benefit or is he getting a bigger commission? Why did I get that advice? So the government has recognized that and has started implementing rules for financial advisors. So no, the answer to your question, Harshita, no, there are not too many financial advisors in India. And they are not on the rich people's list.
So shall we close then? Students?
You're welcome, Harshita.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandeep. Such an informative session. And you held the students were glued to what you were saying, and we've also extended the normal, 5 p.m. time. Thank you so much for all your inputs. And anything that you would like to share, please do so that I can circulate it amongst the students. So students, with that, we close day 5. See you again on Monday, same time at 4 p.m. And we're going to have a very dynamic youth who was an engineer, who switched careers to get into his passion, which is sports. So he will talk to you on sports management. See you all at 4 p.m. on Monday.
Thank you. Sumant, if they have further questions, if they can send it to you, I will request Sandeep to
Absolutely.
answer those for you also.
Any questions, please feel free. Please post it and I will forward it to Sandeep so that, I can get his responses and also send it back to you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dylan. Have a good weekend, all of you. Thank you once again, Sandeep, Venkat. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.